I am Barbara Senrick and I am so excited to take you through iSpark, which is the first part of iSpark Our Fire and which is designed to bring out your whole best self. But before we dive in, I want to share with you a little bit of the backstory why I created iSpark Our Fire. So in 2011, my former boss, friend and mentor, she called me out as a mean and unreliable drunk. That was particularly a bitter pill for me to swallow for two reasons. First of all, being mean and unreliable went fundamentally against my values. I believe in kindness, and I've also always thought of myself as a very reliable person. The second reason is I started drinking because everyone else drank as well. I personally was more like a bit of a health nut and also have always had this connection to spirituality, but I didn't really feel comfortable to share that part of myself with my coworkers at work. At the time I was working in a big pharmaceutical company that was very result driven, and the culture was aggressive, so I didn't really feel comfortable sharing that about me. At the same time, I really wanted to fit in, and therefore I chose alcohol as a means to sort of cope with stress, but also just to like feel part of the group. And in that process, I sort of denied my values, my own beliefs, really my identity. I wasn't really true to who I was. And yeah, that really started a bit of a downward spiral for me. And 2 years later, I was suffering from a burnout. So I quit my job and I started my journey to like rediscover myself and reconnect with myself and heal that trauma. When I moved from Switzerland to New York in 2014, I found Intensati, which is created by Patricia Moreno. It is a spiritual cardio workout that aligns heart and body and mind. And it combines empowering movement and intention setting and positive spoken affirmations. And I walked into that room for the first time and I felt at home. This was exactly what I had been seeking without even knowing that. Through Intensati, I realized that our superpower is to reconnect with who we are and who we're meant to be, uncovering that this is our greatest gift, and also that we and only we have to take responsibility for uncovering that and for showing up as who we are meant to be. And that is and that's really the key to success, because when we show up as who we are, when we bring our whole best self to the table, be that at work or be that in our lives, when we can truly integrate who we are with what we do on a daily basis, that gives us a sense of purpose, and we feel that we are here doing what we are meant to be doing. And this is exactly why I created iSpark Our Fire, because I want individuals and employees to show up as their whole true best self at work. And I also want corporate cultures that not only enhance that, but nurture that, because when people thrive, also business thrives. iSpark stands for that I have to take that responsibility to show up as who I am. And our fire symbolizes the culture, our environment. So it's like I contribute to the collective, basically. Every letter in iSpark Our Fire also corresponds to a step in the approach. And for iSpark, that means I stands for identity, so getting grounded in our identity. S stands for strength, activating and naming our strength. P stands for passion, getting inspired by our passion. A stands for taking action. How can we integrate our strength and our passion into what we're doing? R stands for roaring, because we have to find the courage to roar like a lion and step outside of our comfort zone. And K is for kindness, as we're going through that process to really extend kindness to ourselves and also to others. The same is for our fire, but I'll share that another time. So our fire is also a collective effort, but everyone can ignite their own spark right now. And it's not just applicable to the workplace. Of course, it's great when you can bring your best self to work, but it truly is applicable to every life situation. So yeah, with that, before we start, one last thing. I've mentioned intensality, so we will be moving. So make sure you have a little bit of space around you. Also, we will be activating our voice and using our voice, so make sure you're not going to be disturbing anyone. Also have a pen and a notebook ready so you can take some time and jot down some notes as we're going through this process. Have fun. Here we go. The first movement is like just pump up your arms. This is just a bit of a warm-up so you get used to getting into your body. So we get outside of our head and into our body so we can access what's already within us. I ignite my spark. Beautiful. I ignite my spark. Repeat after me. I ignite my spark. It's weird to use your voice. I ignite my spark, but you'll get used to it because that's what you're going to be focusing on. So you're directing your mind to focus on what you're saying, and with the movement, you're creating alignment within yourself. So we're going to move into the first step of I Spark, which is identity. So the movement is acceptance, and you're bringing it in. And the affirmation here is my whole best self. Say it after me. My whole best self. My whole best self. Now I want you to think of a time when you were your whole best self. What did that look like? What were you doing? Maybe you even want to think about a time when you were a little child and you weren't conditioned yet. Instead, you were fearless and courageous and you had a big dream and you were just going for it because you didn't think it was impossible. So bring that up. Nice. The next step in I Spark is S, stands for strength. And here the movement is strong, single punches, like a warrior. It's a badass move to bring out our strength. We're activating our strength, and that's also the affirmation. I activate my strength. I activate my strength. I activate my strength. Remember to repeat after me and activate also your voice to create that alignment. And as you're punching out, think about what are your strengths? What are you good naturally? What comes easily to you? What do you enjoy doing? And if you find it hard to name that for yourself, maybe what are things that people compliment you on? What do other people say you're good at? Nice. Bring it out with that movement called strong. The next movement is an uppercut. This movement is called inspire. And here we're inspired by our passion. And that's what we are saying. I'm inspired by my passion. I'm inspired by my passion. I'm inspired by my passion. The question here is, what are you passionate about? What energizes you? What fuels you? Where would you like to make an impact? What would you go an extra mile for? Maybe what's your purpose? And now that we have thought about what our strengths are, what our passions are, we need to commit to take action, because if we don't take action, nothing will ever change. So here the movement is commitment, which is like reaching up with your arms. Great. And here we say, I commit to taking action. I commit to taking action. You got it. I commit to taking action. Now think about what's maybe only one thing that you can do to integrate your strength and what you're passionate about into your everyday life. Because when we can do that, that's the key to success, and it's going to give us a sense of purpose. When we can really show up as who we are on a daily basis and integrate it with everything that we're doing. The next step is courage. To roar. We need to roar. That's what R stands for, like a lion, mustering up the courage to really step outside of our comfort zone. And here the movement is 2 punches, a double punch, nice. And here we say, I have the courage to roar. I have the courage to roar. I have the courage to roar. Now, how can you remind yourself to step outside of your comfort zone and integrate those strengths and passions with everything you do on a daily basis? Because for sure, there are things that you're not doing yet, but that you can, and they require a little bit of courage. So think about that lion that's roaring, embodying it fully. Beautiful. And the last step is kindness. So you want to tap your heart. Kindness takes us higher. Kindness takes us higher. Kindness takes us higher. Kindness takes us higher. It's so important to be kind to ourselves in this process, because it's not always going to be easy. Now we're enthusiastic about the change and the prospect of doing something new, but we often don't feel like it, or it's getting a little hard. So it's important to remember to be kind to ourselves in this process. And if we're extending kindness and compassion to us, we can also do that with others. And the last step here is snapping your fingers. To take it all together, to summarizing that I am sparking my own fire. I am sparking our fire. So snap it out, snap it out. I spark our fire. I spark our fire. I spark our fire. Excellent. The last thing is we want to put everything together, and you can use that on a daily basis to remind yourself of this work, maybe to muster up that courage that we need to step outside of our comfort zone and really show up as who we are meant to be, our whole best self. So we're doing the whole series together one more time, like once through, and then I invite you to repeat it as many times as you want to. So here we go. I ignite my spark, my whole best self. I activate my strength. I'm inspired by my passion. I commit to taking action. I have the courage to roar. Kindness takes us higher. I spark our fire. Amazing. Well, I hope that this is helpful, and I hope this helps you to ignite your own spark so you can show up as your whole best self, as who you are meant to be. So thank you.